The shopping center had 3 security cameras covering the parking lot. At least, that's what everyone believed. Camera 1 watched the entrance. Camera 2 covered the storefronts. Camera 3 overlooked the rear exit. For years, nothing unusual happened there. Then people started disappearing. The first was a grocery store manager who finished closing one night and walked to her car. Security footage showed her crossing the lot. Halfway to her vehicle, she moved out of camera 2's view. She never appeared on camera 3. Police assumed there was a blind spot, a small gap between the cameras. The investigation went nowhere. 6 months later, a college student disappeared after leaving a restaurant in the same shopping center. Again, footage showed him walking across the parking lot. Again, he vanished between camera 2 and camera 3. Again, there were no witnesses. The cases were eventually linked. Then a third person disappeared. And a fourth. Every victim vanished within the exact same 20-yard stretch of asphalt. Detectives spent weeks reviewing footage. They measured angles, tested visibility, walked the route themselves. The blind spot existed, but barely. A person crossing it should have been visible again within seconds. Yet the victims never reappeared. The police department installed temporary surveillance equipment overlooking the area. Extra cameras, higher resolution, different angles. Nothing happened for months. Then, just after midnight on a rainy Tuesday, a security guard disappeared. This time, detectives had footage from 6 separate cameras. The guard walked through the parking lot carrying an umbrella. He entered the blind spot. 3 seconds later, he should have emerged. He didn't. Officers watched the recording repeatedly. Frame by frame, the guard simply vanished. No vehicle approached. No one ran toward him. No struggle. Nothing. The city became obsessed with the case. News crews aired the footage nightly. Theories exploded online. Kidnapping, corruption, a serial killer, something hidden beneath the parking lot. Eventually, engineers were brought in. Ground scans revealed no tunnels. No underground structures. Nothing. Then a retired security technician contacted police. He claimed the shopping center originally had 4 cameras, not 3. A 4th camera had been removed years earlier after a renovation. According to him, camera 4 faced directly into the blind spot. Detectives tracked down archived recordings stored in an off-site warehouse. Most had degraded beyond use. But one tape survived. The footage came from 7 years earlier, the night of the first disappearance. Investigators watched it in silence. The grocery store manager entered the blind spot. A man stepped out from between 2 parked vans. He wasn't wearing a mask, wasn't hiding. He simply looked like someone who belonged there. He said something. The woman stopped. They spoke briefly. Then she followed him, walking calmly, voluntarily. The pair disappeared behind the vans. They never returned. The breakthrough led detectives to identify the man, a maintenance contractor named Alan Cross. He had worked throughout the shopping center for years. Every store knew him. Every employee recognized him. He carried keys, wore a uniform, had unrestricted access almost everywhere. People trusted him automatically. The investigation exploded. Cross was arrested 2 weeks later. Evidence connected him to multiple disappearances dating back more than a decade. At trial, witnesses described him as friendly, helpful, forgettable, the sort of person people stopped noticing after a few seconds. When prosecutors asked how he managed to approach so many victims without alarming them, Cross smiled slightly. Then answered, "Nobody's afraid of the guy who's supposed to be there." He received multiple life sentences. The shopping center remains open today. New stores, new pavement, new cameras, including a replacement for camera 4. Most shoppers know nothing about the case. But some longtime employees still avoid crossing that section of the parking lot alone at night. Because once you've seen the footage, one detail becomes impossible to forget. None of the victims looked scared. Not at first. They looked like they had simply been asked a question and decided to stop and answer.